What is up, Knicks fans? I know, I don't even have to ask because I know you are doing well after that big time Game 6 victory in Madison Square Garden on Friday night. One thing I love most about sports is when people, when players, when teams respond, whether within a game, in between games, whatever the situation is, when they respond. And this Knicks team responded to a very poor performance in Game 5, specifically on the defensive end. I had a breakdown over that. We took a look at it, and I specifically highlighted transition and ball screen situations, and a lot of ones that look like this. This is from Game 6, where a Spain ball screen action really confuses them. They mess it up. The communication isn't great. Pritchard pops open here. Brunson stunts to help for a second. OG Mitch Rob still can't get it figured out. Pritchard gets a great look, and then because of that, now your defense is in scramble, presents offensive rebounding opportunities. Holiday takes advantage. Derek White gets another clean look, misses, and in that possession, New York comes out clean. But that was few and far between in the first half against the Celtics. And I also want to highlight, yes, there were shots that the Celtics missed. But I think that is too simple of a narrative that, oh, they just missed shots in Game 6 that they made in Game 5. I think it goes way beyond that. And so I want to take a look at this throughout this breakdown. And we're going to go right back to Spain ball screen action. First possession of the game, and watch how New York is able to defend it. Mikal really fights over the top. Right here, Cat is now fighting over this second screen. Brunson steps out and help and communicates. And this was on display so often in this game. How many times in Game 5 was this not executed where two guys just stayed on the ball in a situation like this? Brunson talks, Cat fights, and Mikal is able to peel back off, gets a good closeout on Drew Holiday. And I want to emphasize, Boston still creates some advantages in these possessions that I'm going to show, but watch and see how many of them are completely uncontested attempts. And again, I want to be fair. Boston had some. I thought especially late in the first quarter, they went through a stretch where they were getting good looks and just didn't knock them down. But in general, the play and the execution on the defensive end was so much better. Here, a little bit more just traditional wing ball screen on a cleared outside. OG goes under, so they're going to rescreen, and he's going to try to fight back over the top. They weren't just easily switching all of these actions. He stays in phase enough, and Karl-Anthony Towns does a nice job in drop here, staying below the roll man, but still making Jaylen Brown feel him, forcing him into a contested mid-range jumper that OG is able to get a hand on and block. And then I also want to highlight how many of these possessions turned into points the other way. So here, Brunson pushes, finds Hart, Mikal with an incredible relocation to knock down the catch and shoot three off a little bit of movement. Defense driving offense, defense driving pace. Here's another just traditional ball screen out top on the wing. Deuce McBride fighting over the top of that screen. Really nice job. And then watch OG and Anunoby here as the weak side tag guy comes in to tag Cornette so that the pass can't be made, but he doesn't overcommit. Think again about all the clips where I showed there was overcommitments. There were so many guys on one side of the court. Here, OG tags, but he is right back there on Jaylen Brown. He gets a look, but it is contested. It just wasn't as easy in Game 6 for the Celtics offensively as Game 5. Even here, fighting through the ball screen. Kicks it with his leg, but no whistle, continue to play, and yet again, defense drives to offense. Jaylen Brown blocks the shot, but Deuce McBride follows it up. Now we're going to get a double drag here from the Celtics out top. Again, Mikal Bridges fighting over the top of the screen, not just soft switching everything. And then the recovery. Listen, it's not perfect. I'm going to show transition here in a little bit. It's not always perfect in these situations. Cat probably gets caught a little bit high, but you do want to take away the three from Derek White. Horford's pulling Hart back to the perimeter. Like, this is a good Celtics team. But what happens is, because guys are engaged and Cat makes the recovery and recovers to the exact right spot. He is able to get between Kornet and the basket. He's able to slow him down. Eventually, Mikal does get called for this off the ball foul on Derek White, but it's not a wide open shot. Think about how many possessions ended up in wide open shots from the Celtics. We'll see another one here. Deuce and Mitchell Robinson defending the ball screen action. They call the switch, and so Deuce is able to get back. This possession ends up in a foul, which isn't necessarily a positive, but you know what it's better than? Kristaps Porzingis shooting a wide open catch and shoot pick and pop three because Mitch and Deuce didn't communicate in that situation. They communicated, Deuce gets back, and then you got to hope that Mitch can hold up here. You know what else that foul is better than? A Peyton Pritchard wide open catch and shoot three. So I just want to highlight that even though every single one of these isn't ultimately a quote unquote positive, it's still better than a lot of what we saw in Game 5, especially when we get into transition stuff like here, where guys are matched up with who they should be matched up with. Mikal with a great job here. This is something we saw so much coming out of Game 5 was this Derek White trailed three-point attempt. Mikal with a sense of urgency to get there. We get a ball screen from Horford. Easy switch. They communicate it. They know. Hart now is going to fight through this next screen. Kornet does a great job of flipping sides of the screen. Maybe a good look here, but still, like, he's feeling the presence of Hart from behind, of him pushing Kornet, like foul or not, pushing Kornet into him. Like, look at his space right now into this attempt as opposed to just a wide open catch and shoot in a trail situation or an uncontested shot altogether. And I also want to emphasize the defensive rebounding that is coming down. And now transition. I thought this is where they really got better. This is not one of the situations I highlighted after Game 5. They are down a man in this one, and just watch them scramble and give effort right there. Active hands from Josh Hart. Jaylen Brown's going to attack. Active hands from Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart. Like, you got to do something in that situation when you're down a person, right? Like, you can't just play 5-on-4 the whole possession. They got active and they ended up forcing a turnover. But I thought they did a much better job in some of these situations of at least getting matched. Like, they found a person. I'll show getting matched with the right person because that is important as well. But here Brunson's like, that is Derek White running in transition. OG, let's not worry about getting you on Jaylen Brown here. I got this for now. You find Derek White. I feel like in Game 5, this was 2 down here on Jaylen Brown. Mikal Bridges jumps into this passing window to slow down a pass to Derek White as well. And now when he catches, there's somebody right there in front of him. That was not the sense of urgency in the previous game. Mikal recognized it. Look at him. He pointing, he sees it, and look at him jump into that passing window. Just a really nice job. And now you get a contested attempt from Derek White in transition. And again, multiple guys attacking the defensive boards. They come down with it. Again, Boston going in transition, and look at Karl-Anthony Towns' emphasis on getting the matchup they should get. He's running from one side of the floor to the other to match with Al Horford, so it's not Brunson. So now Brunson's sprinting to the other side of the floor to get there on Jrue Holiday. Now, again, I realize this probably should be converted. I understand it, but I still appreciate the effort, the sense of urgency, and the response to what happened to them in transition in Game 5. We'll see another example here where they get the right matchups. Mitch Robinson on Kristaps, Cat on Horford, Brunson on Holiday, Deuce on Derek White, OG on Jaylen Brown. And when you do that, sometimes you get a win defensively. The offense doesn't run great offense because it's not just easy. And now you're getting a Jrue Holiday 1 or 2 pass, fadeaway mid-range jumper early in the shot clock. I think you would take that if you're the Knicks. Yet again, you're getting the right matchups. Even though it's not perfect, you're getting OG running across the court, so he is the one matched up with Jaylen Brown. And yes, Jaylen Brown breaks down the defense, gets into the paint, but you got the right matchups. OG cuts Jaylen Brown off, where I don't know that anybody else on the floor necessarily does. And when you cut off the offense, they have to make the next play and the next play, and there's just more chance for something to go wrong. In this scenario, it's an OG block, just a great sequence from him, and that goes right into offense where Brunson gets the pull-up three and Bridges gets the offensive rebound putback. Remember, we highlighted after makes, this being an issue. Against the Pacers, they are going to push after makes. But again, OG is sprinting and working, so he is the one matched up with Jaylen Brown. And again, he's the one that can cut off this drive, even though Jaylen is getting to this spot. Deuce is involved. He contests, ends up in a turnover, and you get another stop in that situation. And then these last couple are just awesome. I love just the all-around possessions here. So first in transition, just sprinting back, talking, Mikel's pointing, Deuce makes multiple efforts. Now here comes Josh Hart rotating to take away a Derek White trail three-point attempt. Mitch is all the way over here and now running back to the other side of the court to close out on Drew Holiday. Again, not perfect. Drew Holiday breaks you down, but when you make them make multiple plays over and over and over, they're going to get some right, but they're going to miss some. And right here, he misses the pass. It slows it down just a little bit. Mitchell Robinson makes another effort to close out. Mitchell Robinson ran from one side of the floor all the way to the other side of the floor, closed out, moves his feet, peels off, closes out again to Jaylen Brown, and takes that attempt away. And again, I realize it wasn't perfect, but it ends up in a turnover, and it goes the other direction as well. This one maybe not direct correlation, but these are the sequences that were consistently happening. Whenever New York got a good defensive possession, they usually got something good on the offensive end. Right here, Derek White gets the steal, but transition effort. Deuce McBride runs it down, gets the block, and then you will remember this one as Josh Hart plays through contact, makes the shot, and gets to the free throw line. And then I want to finish off with a couple just really good all-around possessions. Again, matchups are correct to start the possession. That is important. Deuce guarding Derek White out at half court. Watch this off-ball action from the Knicks. Watch over here. So we're going to get a screen, communicate early, switch. Communicate early, switch. No mess up. Going to go back door. I'm there. I'm locked in. Come off a screen. Josh Hart is there. He's locked in. 5, 6, 7 seconds of action off the ball, and they communicate it. They give up nothing. It turns into a Drew Holiday isolation on Karl-Anthony Towns, and he holds up. Yet again, how does this possession start? With the correct matchups. It's so important, and it will be very important in the Pacers series as well. So right here comes off, they switch it, right? They communicate, okay, we got to switch that one. But watch as it continues. We go right here, and Deuce does a great job. No contact, no switch, he stays, and now we get a contested three from Derek White, as opposed to what I think would have happened in Game 5 is Deuce tries to step up and switch out, Pritchard goes off, and they hit him, and he gets a wide open shot. Lots of credit. Love whenever a team responds in the way the Knicks did on the defensive end on Friday night.